They had to do it, didn't they? And who am I talking about? Who else? EA. When Star Wars Battlefront 2 was announced, it soon became apparent that it wasn't going to have a season pass or paid for DLC. And this was fantastic news, and I was very happy about it. It seemed that EA were finally listening to their customers. And maybe they were. And then during E3 a few weeks back, they even stated clearly that they had been listening and that all the problems with the first game had been addressed. But there was a little niggling doubt in the back of my mind when I saw these packs that they were offering, and I didn't really know much about it at the time, and I kind of let it ride. I thought, okay, great. Maybe EA have turned a corner. Maybe they finally realised that pleasing their customers is actually good for business. I wasn't about to hold my breath. Somebody who's kicked their dog every day for the past 10 years doesn't get up one morning and suddenly see the error of their ways. But I was starting to feel good about Battlefront 2 at least. Then the warning signs started. Andrew Wilson did an interview a couple of weeks ago, I think it was now, where he began to pontificate on the future of gaming as he sees it. And it was interesting. And this is some of what he said. We put out fewer games, but they're played far more hours and over many more platforms by 10 times the number of people than when I started 18 years ago. There's good reason for that. What has become apparent to us is that human beings have fundamental needs. No shit, Sherlock. Once you get past air, food, water and shelter, the necessities of life, surprising, then it's about sense of belonging, social interaction, self-esteem, overcoming challenge and building self-worth, self-actualization, whatever the fuck that is, and the creative element, leaving some kind of legacy. When you look at entertainment in general, the participation in entertainment, whether that's movies or TV or books, drives or fulfills some of those motivations. When you get to work in the morning, you want to talk about House of Cards or the latest album you listen to. Ultimately, you start to live that. But that's where it ends. With video games, though, you get that social interaction both in the real world and the virtual world. You get that sense of achievement. When we make games, we build them to make you feel good. Remember that. We set puzzles and challenges for you that you might overcome with learning. And then we set harder challenges for you. Every time you overcome them, you build self-esteem and self-worth and fulfill that core motivation. Well, that's all very well and slightly disturbing if you read between the lines and see that what he's actually talking about is encouraging addictive behaviour. But what does it actually mean for the gamer who's playing more and engaging more with the game of their choice? What it means is more chance to sell stuff to the gamer. Keep them playing, keep them paying. What he's saying is that they're in the business of creating addicts who will keep coming back for more junk. This is cynical to the extreme. But how does Battlefront 2 fit into it? Well, in an article by Eurogamer that came out on the 30th of June, we also learned that EA plan to use microtransactions in Battlefield 2. Yep, you heard me right. They may not be having season passes, they may not be having paid DLC, but they're having microtransactions instead. And you might think, so what? A lot of games have microtransactions, and of course you'd be right, they do. And it's a practice that's annoyed me for some time. And it's also a practice that puts me off any game that has microtransactions. I can tolerate it as long as the microtransactions are cosmetic. If you can ignore them, if they don't alter the dynamic of the game, then it's an irritant, but hey, I can let it go. If they do alter the dynamic of the game though, like the premium ammo and tanks in a game like World of Tanks, which I talked about in a previous video, I avoid the game like the plague. It's basically pay to win, and it utterly breaks the game. Taking an enjoyable experience and replacing it with something that exists purely to make money by sucking the gamer dry. And this is what we now have with Star Wars Battlefront 2. In the article, Eurogamer didn't say exactly how this was going to work, but the signs frankly aren't very good. This is what they said. Unlike its predecessor, Battlefront 2 has randomized crates of star cards that offer gameplay affecting power-ups. So you have it right at the beginning there. Gameplay affecting power-ups. They go on to say, these can give you more health, power up weapons, boost damage, or grant other special abilities, such as a healing effect for nearby allies. Though the feature wasn't working when the revelations came to light, duplicate star cards will be automatically converted into crafting parts, which you can then put towards a particular card or to upgrading a card you already have. Well, okay, you know, I find those kind of mechanics in game a bit annoying because they pull you out of the interaction within the game, and I know some people like them. That's okay as long as you're not having to pay for them. But this is what they go on to say. You can get the currency used for buying crates by just playing the game. Great. But the possibility of buying unlimited loot boxes using real world cash sparked concern amongst gamers. Did it really? EA has now confirmed to Eurogamer that yes, you can buy more of these crates using real world money. Yep, it's a pay to win mechanic. You can buy loot boxes that contain items that will give you an advantage in game. And as I say, it's a pay to win mechanic. If it's not a pay to win mechanic, I'm a fucking Sith Lord. There's still time for EA to rethink this, so if they're really listening to their fans, I expect it to change. But it won't, will it? Because they aren't really listening to fans. At this stage, gamers are little more to them, it seems, than a two-legged bank account. Whether a game plays well or not, whether it offers value for money or not, is a distant consideration. If it's a consideration at all. What matters is the bottom line. As I say, keep gamers playing, keep gamers paying. We've seen this every year for the past few years with FIFA, with Ultimate Team. And it seems that EA want to bring it to every single game they produce. It's cynical, it's arrogant, and it shows a complete disregard of the customers who put food on the table for the developers. I know EA won't listen because when they say they're listening, it's just bloody lip service. But I'm asking them, please, please, please don't do this. Don't take a potentially awesome game and gut it of all its charm by making it little more than a cash cow. Because if you do this, you will still get a lot of people playing the game. You always get people who will make excuses and be apologists for anything that comes out. If they like a game, if it's got all sorts of broken mechanics and problems with it, they'll make excuses. You always see them. They're always out there. You've got the fanboys of the consoles and you've got fanboys of games. And there will be people out there who will do this. They will act as apologists for this. But the truth is that we are being taken as mugs. And those of us who aren't fanboys, those of us who aren't apologists, don't like being taken as mugs. And I, for one, have seen this, and this game has gone from a must-have to a game that I am seriously considering boycotting. It's going to be awful for my boy because he is so looking forward to this game. But if they do this, I'm sorry, but I'm not buying it. I don't want to be taken for a mug. And I don't want this kind of addictive behaviour being encouraged in my son when he plays this game. But anyway, that's how I feel about it. You guys might have an entirely different take on the whole thing. As ever, come and let me know in the comments and we can have a chat about it. And in the meantime, I'm going to go and lie down in a dark room. And I'll speak to you in the next one. Bye.